Good afternoon, this is Joe Biondo with Inbound Logistics Magazine, and we are here live from Modex 2026 on day 2. Right now I'm talking with Scott Kramer, VP of Product Management at Infios. Scott, how are you?
I'm doing awesome. How are you doing today, Joe?
I'm doing great. It's been a great day so far, busy, a lot more people on the show floor today.
Yeah, we've definitely seen a pickup today.
Yep, it's awesome. Scott, let's jump right into it. So as you're working with your customers, what would you say is the single biggest pain point they're bringing to you today as opposed to maybe 2 years ago?
So I think it's really a continuation of the pain point that they've been having for years, and it's really around labor and making sure that their operations are running as efficiently as possible. Labor is still a tight market for us in the warehousing space.
Absolutely. So as you're looking around the Modex floor today, what is one thing you've seen that might have been unthinkable even 5 years ago?
Oh, the explosion of AMRs, right? The humanoids are running over here in the corner, the just variety and the complexity of what these AMR systems are capable of doing. Would have never saw that 5 years ago.
So you mentioned technology a little bit. Along those lines, what's the biggest mistake you're seeing companies make when they are initially embarking on this digital transformation journey?
So I think the biggest thing is they're not looking at what we would classify as purposeful innovation. Starting with what's the problem, what's the question that they want to answer, what are they trying to solve, and then working back to technology. They seem to be starting from the technology and saying, now I'm going to go find my problem.
That's a good point. So Scott, everyone here at Modex has been talking about AI, and Infios is really focused on purposeful AI.
Yes.
So for the executive or the CEO watching this, what is the difference between generic AI and AI that actually delivers measurable results in the warehouse and on the road?
Yeah, so I think it goes back to that purposeful innovation and understanding the outcome. Right, too often they're starting with, I need an AI project, but the AI project doesn't have any grounded in a specific business problem or specific business outcome. So they really need to start with that outcome and work their way backwards.
So Scott, your presentation this week is called Real Time Right Now. We've been talking about real time for decades. Why is it only now that warehouse management, transport management, and OM systems are finally starting to work in a coordinated concept?
Yeah, so I think real time has always historically been about the data, but now we want to move it from data to decision making and say, how do I start to take AI and allow it to work on those better decisions off of the knowledge that we've been able to collect over the last 20 years?
Good point. So supply chains are defined by their disruptions, right? How does the Infios intelligent layer help a team resolve an exception, like a sudden labor shortage or a misread shipment, before it ruins the customer experience?
So that's a great question, and that's where AI really starts to come in, right? We have these agents that are out looking for these problems, but instead of just generating an exception and understanding what the problem is, they start to give us some analysis and say, how should you solve this problem? So they can start to communicate amongst the entire supply chain ecosystem, including our OMS, WMS, and TMS solutions.
So Scott, there's a difference between seeing a problem and solving it, obviously.
Right.
How do you move beyond the standard control tower view to a system that actually recommends the best move for the labor productivity or inventory flow?
Right. So if you think about it, a control tower is just giving me visibility. It's helping me see a problem. But to your point, it's not helping me solve the problem. So I need to have these agents giving me a recommendation to say, based off of this, we recommend steps 1, 2, and 3, and then the human only has to do a yes or no. Yes, I agree with you. Go ahead and execute.
Scott, so as we look at the strategic direction of the industry, resilience is a top priority. How does data synchronization across the entire execution stack directly correlate to the bottom line ROI for a mid to large scale provider?
So I think the best way to answer that is with an example. Historically, if I had an inbound truck that was going to be late, I might get an exception in my transportation management solution. If I was lucky, maybe that person would call the warehouse and say, this truck is going to be late. If we think about how agents can now start to automate that process for us, they can call the driver and say, is the truck going to be late? Yes, the truck's going to be late. Therefore, it can then call the WMS agent and say, because the truck's late, I'm going to have to reschedule my inbound to dock door. Because it's late, I'm going to have to redo my labor profile. So if we start to think about how we can start to chain these events together, we can start to get to a really tangible outcome that's not just an exception. I can start to give customers insight into the data and remove a lot of the research challenges that a manager would have had to historically do on their own.